Hey everyone, we're so happy to have you with us today as we introduce the latest OnePlus smartphone. We'll talk you through some of the new products, new features, and pretty amazing partnerships that we think are going to elevate the OnePlus experience. But first, let's start with a few quick updates. 2020, man, what a year this has been, right? I know many of you are wishing this year was over already, but for OnePlus, 2020 has been really important. Since we introduced the OnePlus One in 2014, we've been focused on delivering flagship devices that offer the best combination of hardware and software. Over the years, the technology that goes into smartphones has continued to improve, and our products have become much more advanced. But we know that for some of our users, owning the best smartphones with the highest specs in 2020 wasn't as easy as it was almost 7 years ago. So earlier this year, we introduced a new approach for OnePlus to offer a wider variety of our tech-leading products to choose from. First, we began expanding into more price categories for our smartphones. OnePlus users are arguably some of the most tech-savvy and, trust me, very vocal smartphone users on the planet. Many of them want the latest and greatest tech, while others are simply looking for a really great and really affordable smartphone that performs like a flagship. In April, we introduced some of the best Android phones available today with the OnePlus 8 series. Our premium OnePlus 8 Pro continues to lead the pack, definitely as the most powerful smartphone we've ever created, and also perhaps the best phone in the world, pound for pound. And with the 8 series, we were the first company in the industry to go all in 5G, giving users access to next generation data speeds when and where 5G is ready for you. And just a few months ago, we shook things up yet again with our newest product line, OnePlus Nord. Now, a lot of people out there were searching for a mid-tier phone that could deliver a premium experience, but the options in that price category simply weren't very good. We finally got to a point where we felt the technology was ready to let OnePlus deliver the winning combination of a premium experience and mid-tier price point without sacrificing quality. So far, the reception has been beyond our expectations. Today, we're excited to officially announce the latest OnePlus Nord color, Gray Ash. Gray Ash combines a raw industrial vibe with an elegant matte texture, elevating the Nord aesthetic and reaffirming OnePlus's mission for uncompromising design. Featuring 12 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage, this special edition will launch tomorrow in Europe at €499, and in the UK at £469, available on OnePlus.com and Amazon. In India, it'll be available online in OnePlus Experience stores and in authorized retail partner stores for 29,999 rupees. And for those of you in North America, keep an eye out for more information about future Nord products coming your way soon. In addition to expanding into new price points, we've also been looking to build out our product ecosystem to offer a more seamless and interconnected OnePlus experience. Now, this isn't something we wanted to rush into in our early days. In fact, we've even scrapped certain ideas in the past, either because the products weren't quite up to our standards or because we wanted to concentrate on bigger priorities at the moment. Many of you may have even seen some rumors lately about certain products that we're supposedly getting ready to launch. And we did talk about specific products, like a watch a few years ago. But as you know, we shelved those plans to focus more on our flagship phones. But hey, plans can change, right? Well, today we have some good news for you. The OnePlus ecosystem is slowly but surely expanding. We do have a thing or two up our sleeves, but we're not quite ready to give you all the details yet. So keep an eye out for more information in the coming months. Okay, enough distractions for now. Let's get back to the reason why we're all here today, to meet the newest member of the OnePlus flagship smartphone lineup, building on the beauty and the power of the OnePlus 8 and taking things even further. Introducing the OnePlus 8T. That video just scratched the surface of what the OnePlus AT really offers. We're gonna get into all the details today, but first things first, let's start by focusing on what grabs everybody's attention immediately, the design. And to do that, let me introduce you to somebody who you probably already remember, Brian Yoon, the head of OnePlus's creative department and a world-class designer by trade. Hey, Brian.
Hi, Ryan. Thank you for your great introduction.
You've been with OnePlus for a very long time now, and you know the ins and outs of our approach to design. I'm curious to get your thoughts on the design details of the OnePlus AT.
The design is extremely important to users because it expresses your individuality. But not all manufacturers, pay much attention to it. When they compromise on design just to fit a bunch of components into the phone, right? But it really impacts the way a user feels about the product.
Yeah, think about when you walk into a store and you see all the different options out there. The design really has to stand out.
Exactly, but it's more than just how the phone looks. The way it feels in your hand is also really important. So let me ask you one question. Do you know how many times per day an average user pick up their phone?
I don't know, maybe 25 or 30?
Not really. More than 80 times per day.
80, wow.
Yeah. Whatever you hold more than 80 times per day in your hand, then it must be very comfortable when you hold it every time.
And it must be really lightweight too. We got the OnePlus AT down to 188 grams, which is pretty impressive considering everything that's inside this phone.
Yeah, exactly. So weight is one of the most important factors that gives you a better feeling in your hand. But we're not just trying to minimize the weight. What we're trying to do is to find a sort of right balance between, hardware performance, less burdensome weight.
And also the texture and the grip is
really
exactly.
Important. Yeah, right. So it sounds like very simple, but actually it is not. So I cannot tell you all the secrets we have, but I would say at least 13 points we have to consider when we design the back curvature. And then it must be adjusted, modified, improved very, very carefully.
Yeah, I've seen some of the design process myself, and I've got to say it's really amazing to see all the different iterations and the attention that we pay to the details. And it's not a simple process. In fact, it's really complex. So can you give us a bit of behind the scenes insight into what goes on when we're designing a product like the OnePlus AT?
Okay, sure. Let me tell you a quick story. So after we finished the very first prototype of the OnePlus AT, we were quite proud of ourselves because we made a very thin phone, which is 9mm at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we brought it to Pete, our CEO, and then we showed it to him, right? And then what he said is, guys, this is too thick, make it thinner. And then we had to repeat this couple of more rounds to make it thinner. The difference between the first prototype and the last one was only 0.6mm. So now it is 8.4mm thick. And Pete was very happy with that. And it's because he believed that this kind of tiny difference can make a huge improvement, especially when it's in your hand.
And that's really what we mean by never settle. Keep working, keep tweaking, keep iterating until you get everything just right. Now, as a smartphone user, you might not think that something as small as just 0.6mm makes that much of a difference, but it really does impact how we use our phones every day.
It is, yeah.
And there are three other things that really matter as well: color, material, and finish, or as we like to call it, CMF. Now, all this had to come together just right to make the OnePlus AT look and feel so good.
Yes, that is right, but you may not know how good this is before you hold and try it in your hand. So to help more people to understand how good this is, I would take this example. Do you remember the slick white version of OnePlus One before?
Of course, how could I forget?
Yeah, so I would say that the texture of the OnePlus AT this time feels like a silky smooth back of the silk white version of OnePlus One.
Yeah, actually I had the classic sandstone black edition of the OnePlus One, and I just remember though the first time that I felt the OnePlus One Silk White Edition, and I was just amazed by that texture. And now with the OnePlus AT, it's really impressive that we've gotten glass to have that same kind of a texture.
Yeah, right.
And the colors of the AT are really something else as well. So this time we have two options: aquamarine green and the lunar silver that you're holding.
Yes, right. The color is probably the most individualistic expression of the product preference. The green one, that one, it has the special film on it, so it reflects the light and it's glossy.
Yeah.
And this one is matte frosted. So we gave you two options. It's because some of us prefer to have more flashier and glossy material.
Yeah.
Some of us prefer more of the subtle materials to use. So I want to ask you that, which one will you go for?
I'll tell you what, generally I'm a matte frosted kind of person because I'm not a big fan of the fingerprints on the back of a glossy phone. But with the OnePlus 8T, this aquamarine green edition this time, the way that we designed it basically eliminates that fingerprint magnet issue. So this time I think I'm going to go with the green.
I think that's a good choice. I would say the CMF of the OnePlus 8T both are amazing.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Yeah, it's really nice. Well, Brian, thank you so much for talking to us about the design of the OnePlus 8T.
You're very welcome.
Now we're going to move on to perhaps the most important component, the component that you look at almost all day, every day. Let's take a closer look at the ultra-smooth display of the OnePlus 8T. We all know that phones are not just phones. They're not just for talking. They're for gaming, watching videos, messaging, reading, and 1,000 other things. And all that happens through the display. So more than anything else, it's the display that makes or breaks your experience. With the OnePlus 7 Pro last year, we introduced the first QHD Plus 90Hz OLED display in the industry, giving you a much smoother experience than ever before. And since then, we haven't just stayed on the cutting edge. We've been pushing it forward. And with the OnePlus 8 Pro, we elevated the refresh rate to an even smoother 120 Hz with even more outstanding color accuracy. For the OnePlus 8T, we naturally wanted to continue this trend. Now, there are two types of smartphone displays, curved and flat. Both have their advantages. Curved displays can create a more bezel-less look with a slimmer profile. And that's what we went for with the OnePlus 8 series, making the best curved display out there. But on the other hand, there's a whole other group of users that prefer flat displays, especially for activities like gaming and watching content. So this time around with the OnePlus 8T, we went with what we feel is the industry's best 120 Hz flat display. Just check out these stats. 120 Hz refresh rate, 240 Hz sampling rate, peak brightness of 1100 nits, HDR10 Plus certification, SGS certification. These are things that people loved in the OnePlus 8 Pro. So we figured, why not bring them to the OnePlus 8T as well? And according to DisplayMate, this display is not just good. It's A+ good. Now sure, there are other phones that have gotten an A+ rating before, but the OnePlus 8T is the world's first flat 120 Hz display to get that coveted A+ rating. And how we achieved this came down to two factors. First, using the best OLED panel, and then getting the most out of it through meticulous calibration. We customize a special 120 Hz OLED panel, and I don't use the word special lightly here. This is not just some ordinary panel. The OLED panel on the OnePlus 8T is flexible instead of the normal glass-based non-flexible one in most flat OLED displays, which means this display is thinner, lighter, and offers much more vivid color with a wider viewing angle. Then our engineers spent countless hours fine-tuning every detail to bring out the maximum performance from the hardware. We use an extremely high-tech display color analyzer to make sure that every OnePlus 8T has extraordinary color accuracy. And in fact, it has the most accurate color in any smartphone. Color accuracy can be measured with something called JNCD, or just noticeable color difference. And for the most part, a JNCD of less than 1 means that color discrepancies are visually indistinguishable to the human eye. And on the OnePlus 8T, we achieved a JNCD of just around 0.3. Again, more accurate than any smartphone on the market. And on top of the 120 Hz refresh rate, and just like on the OnePlus 8 Pro, the 8T also has an astonishing 240 Hz touch sampling rate. And with the countless optimizations we made in both the hardware and the software, the OnePlus 8T feels even faster than other 120 Hz displays. And we don't forget about the rest of the details either. Take automatic brightness adjustment, for example. This is something that should be basic, but because there are so many variables in different scenarios, it's hard to get it just right. But as always, we don't stop until we get it just right. We added a high-precision light sensor to both the front and back of the OnePlus 8T, which helps to get a more accurate read on the ambient light. We also stepped up the number of adjustment degrees to 8,192, the most on any Android phone. And we included an all-new AI algorithm for smoother brightness adjustment than ever before. Now, you might never notice any of this working, and that's kind of the point. Having something that works just the way it's supposed to is one less thing that you ever have to worry about. So that's the ultra-smooth 120 Hz display of the OnePlus 8T, a meticulously calibrated flat OLED panel, a refresh rate that runs so smoothly you'll never see a lag or flicker, and color accuracy that even surpasses what your own eyes can see. When you see it for yourself, you'll realize just how stunning the OnePlus 8T display is. And to help you get the most out of that display, our engineers have put in a lot of work to make sure the OnePlus 8T performs really well. Now, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, anyone who knows OnePlus knows we take performance very seriously. So how does the OnePlus 8T perform? Well, the specs here are just the beginning. Snapdragon 865, 12 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of UFS 3.1 storage, dual stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos, USB 3.1 for faster data transfer, and the same upgraded haptic engine as the OnePlus 8 series. Just about everything you would expect in a OnePlus flagship phone. But performance isn't just in the numbers. It's in the experience, what you get out of it. Now let's take an example, heat dissipation. Most people don't think about how a smartphone manages heat until they buy a phone, start using it all day, every day, and find that it gets uncomfortably warm from time to time. And for those of you who use your phone to the max, for example with intensive gaming at a high refresh rate, you know exactly how important heat management is. Now, if we're giving you a flagship processor and other premium specs, you deserve to get the most out of them. So in the OnePlus 8T, we redesigned the heat dissipation system using large areas of copper foil, graphite, and most importantly, a super efficient vapor chamber that is 285% larger than before. All this means that the OnePlus 8T has the best thermal performance in any OnePlus phone. Gaming is in our blood. And it's another area that we take very seriously. In fact, with hardware like the ultra-smooth 120Hz display and highly optimized, super clean software in OxygenOS, OnePlus offers perhaps the best mobile gaming experience on any devices out there, including those so-called gaming phones. But we don't do all this alone. We're working with game developers and our community to raise the industry standards and create next-level gaming on a smartphone. This started with our launch of Gaming Mode and later Fanatic Mode, which minimizes background activity and blocks notifications and calls to help you stay focused while gaming. And following our recent Open Ears Forum in Seattle earlier this year, based on some great community feedback, we've added a new toolbox in GameSpace that enables users to quickly toggle on and off certain features like the screen recorder while gaming. It even lets you quickly message your friends through WhatsApp so you can game together. Recently, we've also formed strategic partnerships with some of the leading game developers out there to make sure that when you play their games on a OnePlus phone, you get the most out of them, especially with high refresh rate games. This May, we partnered with Epic Games to give users the power to play Fortnite at 90 FPS for the first time on a phone with the OnePlus 8 series. This was a huge milestone for both the smartphone and gaming industries. Now, Fortnite is an extremely demanding game on any platform. Most players are actually playing it on consoles like PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One, neither of which can run the game at higher than 60 FPS. We worked together with Epic Games for months to make Fortnite the first major high-performance game in the world to reach 90 FPS on a smartphone. And while some devices have even stopped offering Fortnite to their users altogether, we're doubling down. The OnePlus 8 series and now the new OnePlus 8T both support Fortnite at 90 FPS. And we continue to explore even more optimizations to make Fortnite run better than ever on our devices. Now, whether you're deep into a game of Fortnite or watching videos on Netflix, the last thing you want to do is stop to charge your battery. The OnePlus 8T's got you covered. It has a 4,500 milliamp hour battery, which is bigger than the OnePlus 8. And even with the snappier 120Hz display, the OnePlus 8T will get you through the day with ease. And now a bigger battery is one thing, but who wants to waste time waiting for it to charge? Not all fast charging is the same. More than 4 years ago on the OnePlus 3, we introduced Dash Charge, which, unlike other charging technologies at the time, kept voltage low and moved the majority of the technology from the phone to the wall adapter, meaning we could ramp up the charging speed while keeping your phone cool, even while using it. And with the OnePlus 8T, we're taking our fast charging technology to a totally new level by more than doubling the speed of Warp Charge 30T to give you an ultra-fast charging experience. Say hello to Warp Charge 65, the fastest fast charging ever in a OnePlus device. Warp Charge 65 lets you charge the OnePlus 8T almost 60% in a quarter of an hour. That's a full day's power in just 15 minutes. You can see for yourself, the charging speed of the OnePlus 8T is on a level all its own. To make this possible, we totally changed our approach to charging technology by coming up with a new twin battery design. Now, instead of pumping all that power into a single battery, the OnePlus 8T actually contains 2 battery cells and channels the power into both simultaneously, so each one can run at more than 30 watts just on its own. And we've added an extra encryption chip to the charger and cable, along with 12 temperature sensors in the phone itself. Now we can double the speed while keeping everything cool and safe. And don't worry, even with charging this fast, the OnePlus 8T battery is designed to last. After 800 complete charging cycles, it will still be able to hold more than 80% of its initial capacity, far better than the industry norm. With Warp Charge 65, we also completely redesigned the power adapter, so it can handle all of our fast charging protocols. Warp Charge 65, 30T, 30, you name it. It uses USB-C, of course, and it can support up to 45 watts PD charging. So you can use it with a wide range of non-OnePlus devices, from a tablet to a Nintendo Switch, even mini laptops. This could be the only charger you ever need, so we're going to make it available for purchase on our website. And even though it costs us twice as much to manufacture as our previous power adapter, when you buy the OnePlus 8T, don't worry, we'll throw one in the box for free. So there you go, the OnePlus 8T, with flagship specs across the board, just like you'd expect from us, but fit within a slim, lightweight body that always keeps us cool and charges so fast it'll never slow you down. Hopefully you're already convinced that the OnePlus 8T is a snappy and powerful phone that charges way faster than anything we've ever created before. But if that's not good enough, let's talk about the camera. The OnePlus 8T has a 4-camera system with a 48-megapixel main camera with optical image stabilization, a 16-megapixel ultra-wide, and dedicated macro and monochrome lenses. We continue to boost the camera's overall performance compared to the OnePlus 8, including color, dynamic range, and improved low-light photography. One thing we've noticed is that a lot of our users really like nightscape mode, but they don't always remember to switch over to it. Now the camera can automatically switch modes depending on the lighting, helping you get the best out of your night shots. The 16-megapixel ultra-wide camera boasts an impressive 123-degree field of view, the widest we've ever put into a phone, letting you capture more than ever before in your photos. The 5-megapixel macro camera can also take some really great photos, as you can see here in these sample shots. We've enhanced video recording on the OnePlus 8 and added a range of useful new features. When you're taking photos in low-light situations, all you really need to do to get sharp photos is hold the camera steady and shoot. But it's not quite that easy for videos. So on the OnePlus 8T, we brought out the full potential of the advanced imaging sensor to solve this problem. It's a feature we call Video Nightscape. It's a bit like nightscape photography. You can see here, it's dark and almost impossible to make out any detail. But switch on Video Nightscape mode, and it really comes to life. Something else a lot of people often want in video, and can get with professional video equipment, is a good bokeh effect, where people in the foreground come in nice and clear and the background looks softer. Smaller imaging sensors in phone cameras make that hard to replicate, but we managed to do it. On the OnePlus 8T, you get amazing video with people in the frame always coming in clear. We've also included a new generation algorithm for video stabilization that utilizes EIS and gyroscopic data to give you a huge boost in stability and basically lets you ditch your gimbal. And you can choose from different aspect ratios, including 16:9 or the more cinematic 21:9 aspect ratio. So that's the camera system. 4 lenses powered by our advanced video and photography software, and outfitted with automatic nightscape mode, video nightscape, video portrait focus, video tracking, and much more. Now, all that hardware we've been talking about is extremely important because it's the foundation of a smartphone. But one thing we really take pride in at OnePlus is giving you guys the best combination of hardware and software. We work extremely hard to make OxygenOS flow as seamlessly as possible, and there's one guy who knows this inside and out. So let's come back over here and talk to Brian, who has extensive hands-on experience with OnePlus's software design and product. Hey, Brian.
Hi, Ryan.
Give us a bit of insight into OxygenOS.
Sure. We started with a small team back in 2014, and everything has started from there. And even now we are still small compared to major players in the industry. But we have an edge that gives us that huge advantage to over those players.
Yeah, our community, right?
Exactly, yeah. And the part of the community is the people participating in our beta program as well. And I still remember the day we established our beta program, and I believe that our users would be the most essential piece of the OxygenOS.
Yeah, the feedback that we get from them is always really valuable.
Exactly. And today you can see that being reflected in how our people respond. And the reviewers call it OxygenOS the best in any smartphone. And that is proving that our vision with users is going pretty well now.
Yeah, so then the next question that we always keep asking ourselves is, how do we keep making it better?
Yeah, that was our next step. Staying on the top always. So we always wanted to keep the experience clean and fast.
Yeah.
Of course, the stock Android is a great starting point, but there's more we can do to make it even better. So we keep some of best things from stock Android, and then we added more useful features and optimizations without disturbing user experience. And fast updates, and super responsive UI, and a smoother animation.
Yeah, the team has always really worked hard on that. And recently we just introduced the next best thing for OnePlus software, OxygenOS 11.
Yeah, right.
OxygenOS 11 is the next step in our unending journey to give users the fastest and smoothest Android experience possible. OnePlus is proud to consistently be among the first companies to bring the newest versions of Android to our users. In fact, the OnePlus 8T is the first global smartphone not manufactured by Google to launch with Android 11 out of the box. Now, this is a huge accomplishment for us as a company, but also for OnePlus users, because you know that when you buy a OnePlus device, you'll always stay ahead of the game when it comes to the software experience. Brian, OxygenOS 11 is better than ever before, and one thing that's really improved is the layout. So now it's more easy and more intuitive to use with one hand.
Yeah, right. So we're always looking for ways to make it easier to use. And let me tell you something a little nerdy, but interesting. So we mapped out the key touch points and the functional areas across the whole display, using some data from users all over the world. And then that helped us to identify where the information could be displayed on the screen, so things are easy to access without users hand blocking key information. And then from there, we built a screen hierarchy. We put icon, text, headings, and subheadings, and other content in the proper position to make it much more easier to operate with your one hand.
Yeah, we've definitely gotten a lot of feedback on the new layout since we released the developer preview in August. More and more of our early beta users are now telling us that they can really see the benefit of these changes.
Yeah, that is right. But OxygenOS 11 offers so much more still. It's loaded with a ton of new features that we feel really add to user experience.
Yeah, so let's talk about one of the most significant new features of OxygenOS 11, always on display. Now, a lot of companies offer AOD, but we took our time bringing it to our users so we could offer them even more. So we offer 11 clock faces and the typical information like weather, calendar, notifications, but we've also got some really interesting AOD options to let people customize their experience. So Brian, tell us about the first one.
Sure. This one is called Insight AOD, and we created this with the student from the Parsons School of Design in New York. And the Insight AOD literally tells you how much you're using your phone.
Yeah.
So this feature basically translates the time into this color bar. And every time you unlock the phone, it makes the mark on this bar. So longer you use the phone, the more of these marks you see here. And then you may consider using your phone less to focus on something more important if there are many marks on this bar.
Yeah, digital well-being is so important nowadays, especially as we spend more and more time on our phones. And because we spend so much time on our phones, we wanted to give people another way to personalize their AOD. Brian, tell us about the next one, Canvas AOD.
Sure. Canvas AOD. This cool feature always reminds me sort of comic books.
Yeah.
So like you see, it turns a photo of someone special in your life, in this case it's me, into the artistic sketch. And if you unlock the phone, see, this sketch will morph into the real picture.
Yeah, that's really cool. And there's one other really cool AOD option and a new partnership that we're excited to launch alongside the OnePlus 8T. We're partnering with Snapchat and Bitmoji to launch Bitmoji AOD for OxygenOS 11. So after 6 months of close collaboration, we're excited to finally integrate some really cool Bitmoji features into OxygenOS as well. I'm really excited to introduce Bob Blackstock, CEO and Creative Director of Bitmoji, to tell you more about this really cool partnership.
Hi everybody, I'm Ba, the CEO and Creative Director of Bitmoji. We're very excited to announce our partnership with OnePlus to bring personalized, avatar-powered experiences to the OnePlus community. We are living in a time when the lines between our physical and digital worlds are rapidly blurring. In the physical world, you are the connected glue between all of your experiences. Whether you're looking in a mirror, riding a roller coaster, or eating a meal, you are the constant in your life. With Bitmoji, we're bringing that experience into the digital world to humanize our everyday interactions and empower millions of people globally to be their true selves online. And now, we're extending Bitmoji beyond our own platforms and enabling partners like OnePlus to harness the power of the avatar through Bitmoji for Developers, our suite of developer tools. We love that the Bitmoji Always On display literally brings you onto the device and makes every Always On display completely unique. We admire OnePlus's commitment to always putting their community first, and we can't wait to see what we can accomplish together next. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ba. Now, the thinking behind this partnership comes down to two things. First, people love to personalize their smartphones to show their individuality. And second, people are really conscious of privacy, especially where they show their personal data. So this is where digital avatars come in. They balance that personalization and privacy. So Brian, tell us exactly what this Bitmoji AOD does.
Sure. It is kind of a mini-me in your phone. So once you create your avatar, the Bitmoji AOD will adapt to different scenarios to match what you are doing right now. And that, for example, if you are listening to music, then Bitmoji will too. Or if you play a game, then your Bitmoji will too. And if you go out when it's raining, then Bitmoji will know it's raining now. And it adapts to the time of the day and the weather based on your location and the activities through the whole day, which is pretty fun, I think.
And we're also going to be building some other new features from Bitmoji and OxygenOS as well, like the new Bitmoji button in the OnePlus Gallery.
Exactly. So Bitmoji button offers quick access to tons of Bitmoji stickers to add your photos and screenshots, which is right in the Gallery app.
And because Snapchat and Bitmoji are really good when it comes to the camera experience, we've also worked together to optimize the OnePlus camera experience in Snapchat. So now photos and videos are sharper and crisper no matter where you are. Another feature we should highlight is the new live wallpaper.
Exactly. At first glance, it looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
But what you might not notice yet is that we've actually changed our thinking behind live wallpaper. So now, instead of just moving, it will actually change its appearance according to the time of the day. So morning, noon, or night, it adjusts seamlessly.
It does look really good. We first introduced this in the OxygenOS 11 beta builds, and now we've added some new options here in the OnePlus 8T as well. We talked a bit about digital well-being, and OnePlus has a really unique feature that has become pretty popular since we introduced it last year with the OnePlus 7 series. Now I'm talking about Zen mode, of course.
Yeah, Zen mode. Simply put, it's basically disabling your phone to help you to focus on something more important. And we got way better feedback than we expected. So many people love these features, but we still wanted to improve it. Originally, Zen mode was defaulted to 20-minute sessions, but some people wanted the option to customize that the time. So now you can set it all the way up to the 120 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how many people will actually be able to disconnect for up to 2 hours. But hey, now the choice is theirs, right?
Yeah, right.
And with OxygenOS 11, we've introduced some more choices too, including new themes and a group Zen, where you can invite your friends to join you in Zenning out.
Right. That way you can focus on hanging out with each other at dinner, at the beach, catching up over Zoom. Anytime you want to disconnect from your phone to connect with others. When I say others, that even includes your friend with iPhones.
Yeah, that's quite literally inclusive design.
Right.
Now, those are just some of the highlights of OxygenOS 11. A fast, smooth, and clean experience, a range of custom AOD options, convenient new features, and so much Zen, even with your friends. The OnePlus 8T is a true flagship smartphone. It gives you ultra-fast charging with Warp Charge 65, our fastest charging technology ever, and ultra-smooth scrolling thanks to the 120Hz display. for an incredibly powerful smartphone experience. With the OnePlus AT, Ultra stops at nothing. Before we move on, there's one more really exciting thing to tell you about. Augmented reality is one of the coolest technologies out there for immersive content, and it just keeps getting better. OnePlus is excited to have partnered with an amazing company out of Australia called Foria, a team dedicated to taking immersive AR experiences to the next level. Foria are the creators of Rewild, an award-winning AR nature series based on one of my personal favorite Netflix series, Our Planet, narrated by the legendary Sir David Attenborough. Rewild launched internationally last April in partnership with WWF, transforming physical museums into AR biomes, where visitors can work together to virtually reverse the loss of nature. It's a really powerful experience in a physical setting like a museum, with visitors interacting with each other. But with many museums closed in recent months, Foria and OnePlus have been working together with Google and Netflix to bring the Rewild experience into living rooms around the world through immersive AR storytelling. Rewild is available as an app for smartphones everywhere, but OnePlus and Foria have teamed up to deliver an even better AR experience on OnePlus devices from the OnePlus 7 and up. We've created a special mode called Oxygen Mode, which effectively doubles the resolution to ultra high definition while running 4K AR content and millions of polygons around you, which means you can even have a very realistic polar bear walking right next to you, right there in your living room. We're really excited to hear what you think about the Rewild AR experience. Go download the app today and try out Oxygen Mode for yourself. Before we wrap up, we got a couple more things that can make your OnePlus AT experience even better. The first one is our newest true wireless headphones, the OnePlus Budz. These new headphones come with an in-ear design, something many of you have been asking for. With a more ergonomic design and interchangeable silicone tips that come in the box, you can get a nice tight seal to block out external noise, giving you great sound with powerful bass. They weigh just 4.35 grams, so even if you're wearing them for extended periods of time, they'll be very comfortable. And with an IP55 rating for water and dust resistance, some of the best protection for any true wireless headphones on the market, you can use them pretty much anywhere, anytime, from the most intense home workouts to socially distanced jogging or any other safe outdoor activities. Of course, when it comes to headphones, there's nothing more important than sound quality. We've equipped the OnePlus Budz with a 10mm dynamic driver, together with Dolby Atmos and our own bass boost technology, to deliver deep bass and clear vocals, so you can enjoy enhanced depth and detail in every beat. Combined with a charging case, you'll get 20 hours of battery life. And even better, just 10 minutes of fast charging lets you listen for 3 hours. The OnePlus Budz includes still more great features, like impressive low latency of just 103 milliseconds, automatic pausing when you take them out, and touch controls that support Google Assistant. And we're excited to have worked with an extremely talented designer to bring you a special edition of the OnePlus Budz. If you know that contemporary Californian psychedelic pop aesthetic, odds are that you know Stephen Harrington. He's best known for his bright, iconic style that encourages a two-way conversation between the artist and the viewer. Over the past few years, he's exhibited artwork around the world and worked with some of the coolest brands out there, including Nike, Beats by Dre, Colette, and more. And now he's working with OnePlus to bring his iconic palm trees and mellow character to this special edition. Aside from the Stephen Harrington edition, the OnePlus Budz come in two classic colors, white and gray. The Budz Z start at $49.99. We also have some really great cases for the OnePlus 8T, including the classic sandstone and carbon bumper cases to give your phone a bit of added protection, as well as a special edition quantum bumper case that features a unique translucent circuit board design. They'll be available starting from $24.99. And finally, what you've all been waiting for, the price of the all-new OnePlus 8T. In Europe, we have two versions of the OnePlus 8T. You'll be able to get your hands on the 8 plus 128 gigabyte version for €599, while the 12 plus 256 gigabyte version will be €699. They'll be available starting October 20th. And in North America, we're bringing you the most powerful 12 plus 256 gigabyte version for $749, starting from October 23rd. That's all for this time. We're really excited to bring you our latest flagship smartphone, the OnePlus 8T. We look forward to hearing your feedback, so hit us up on our social media channels. Stay safe wherever you are, and as always, never settle. Hello? Oh, hey, good, you're still here. Thank you so much for sticking around all the way till the very end. I know you've got a million things to get back to, but we wanted to give you a little token of our appreciation. Enjoy!